have just entered the zone. We have a very special edition of the zone for you tonight. We're going to be taking a look into the supernatural, but we also have a great new lineup of music videos as well. And I'd like to take just a moment to welcome Krista Harper, who is our newest host, and she's making her first appearance here in the studio.
Thanks a lot, Lindsay. I'm excited to be here and so happy to be working with you guys, too. Let's take a look at this week's lineup, which includes Tonee, Sixpence None the Richer, and All Star United. And later on, Becca is going to be taking us on a journey with one of the most unusual Live Zone reports ever. Speaking of Becca, here she is with our next video.
Thanks, Krista. Are you guys ready? I was going to make you do that again, but you guys are ready. Okay, let's do it then. Here's Delirious with Take Me Away.
I'm in love with a girl. Everybody seems to know. I'll sing it loud, sing it 'cause I'm feeling proud of love. Oh yeah, this is love. You take me away to another place. You show me the way to a higher place. You take me away to another place. I'm seeing it all with a happy face. She could walk on the waves, crashing through my own desire. Swing and sway, dance until my demons fly away. This is love, this is love. Hey! You take me away to another place. You show me a way to a higher place. You take me away to another place. I'm seeing it all with a happy face. Hey, 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 hey. Take me away. Show me a way. Will you take me away? See it all with a happy
Hey there, I'm Becca.
And I'm Jess. That was Delirious with Take Me Away.
You saw those guys up close and personal, didn't you, Jess?
Yeah, actually, I got to work in a booth at one of their concerts. It was so much fun.
That's awesome. Okay, now it's time to kick it over to Krista, who's talking about what I think is the most intriguing topic we've ever had on the zone. It's the supernatural.
Thanks, Becca. What do the recent films, The Others, The Ring, Unbreakable, and The Sixth Sense all have in common? Well, in some way or the other, they all deal with different facets of the supernatural, like ghosts and spirits and goblins and things that go bump in the night. But what is the supernatural? What is it really? Is it something that's scary? Is it real? Is it evil? Or is it good? What do you think, Isaac? Do you think that the supernatural is just a figment of some Hollywood writer's imagination, or do you believe the supernatural is real? And if so, what exactly is the supernatural?
Well, it's definitely real, and what it is beyond scientific comprehension. It's beyond human abilities. It's beyond what science can't explain. It's anything that science doesn't explain. Like, you can't explain miracles with science. You can't explain God's love with miracles, or with science. And basically, the supernatural, it's definitely real. So, I mean, why else is there an interest in it? So, science is beyond human abilities and knowledge, and beyond human comprehension.
And I've seen miracles in my own life, and you have too. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, because in my own life, God healed me of depression, and that's totally supernatural.
That's completely true. Now, we know that everything in the Bible tells us that Jesus was definitely supernatural. So if we believe the Bible, we believe in the supernatural already. But some people believe that there's a neutral ground when dealing with the supernatural. Do you believe that there's any neutral ground, or is there just the good and the evil?
No, I definitely believe there is no neutral. There's either the good side, which is God, or the bad side, the dark side, which is Satan. And I believe that we all have a choice which side we are personally going to tap into. And when we tap into the good side, just like we expect to see the benefits of that, when we tap into the dark side or the evil side, we can't not expect to get the serious consequences with that.
That's exactly true. You know, there is no neutral ground when dealing with the supernatural. And in your own life, you have to make that choice whether you're going to go for the good or you're going to tap into the evil side of the supernatural. Now, I have a question for you. Do you think it's possible for someone to die and then come and talk about what happened to them in the afterlife? Well, we'll be talking more about that later. But now here's Lindsay with our next video.
Thanks, Krista. Well, Mark's going to help me out with this next video. I really like the title of it. It's going to be played for the first time ever here on The Zone, and it's Tanae with
About a Thing.
was Tanae with the hit video Bout a Thing, and of course you saw it right here in the zone. Coming up next, we've got more great music from Sixpence None the Richer and All Star United. Plus, we're going to be catching up with Becca and her Life Soon report. But first, we have got to take a quick break, so don't go anywhere. Stay with us. We'll be right back in the zone.
Welcome back to the zone. Have you guys emailed us yet? If not, you could. And if you have, this next email might be yours. Rosie?
All right. Well, our email of the week comes from Amy, who watches us on Cornerstone out of Irwin, PA. She writes, I think it's great that your show discusses important issues while also giving us great music. Keep up the great work. Well, thanks, Amy, and we're going to continue to discuss important topics on our show that are relevant to our viewers. And also, if you want your email read on the air or your favorite video played on our show, then you have to email us through our website, surfthezone.com. And if we use your email or video request, you could get a free t-shirt or CD just for doing that. I mean, whatever. That's so cool. And while you're there, you might as well click on topics to find out more information about the topics that we discuss every week. Now, let's get back to the music. Here's Breathe Your Name by Sixpence None the Richer here in the zone.
was Sixpence None the Richer with Breathe Your Name from their brand new release,
Divine Discontent.
Now it's time for part 1 of a very special Life Zone report, and we're going to be with our very own Becca Pruitt-Denny, who's going to be talking to Howard Storm about dying, seeing what's out there in the afterlife, and coming back to tell us about it. Stay tuned for this Life Zone report. Here's Becca Pruitt-Denny.
Howard Storm lived his life like most people you know, like your neighbors, your friends, or maybe even yourself. Before his experience, he describes himself as a person living for pleasure, a person who put himself first and who stepped on who he needed to get ahead. But then something happened. Howard's life ended. He died. And that's where our story begins.
In 1985, I was 38 years old. I was a college professor, and I was taking a group of students around Europe on an art tour. A hole burst through my stomach, and I was taken to a hospital and parked, triaged, because there was no doctor available to do the surgery. There was no surgeon.
Doctors say Howard Storm's life expectancy was 5 hours. He'd been waiting for a surgeon for 10.
The nurse came into the room and said they were very sorry they weren't able to find a surgeon. They would try and get one the next day. When she said that, I knew that I wasn't going to make it.
Howard told his wife it was time to say their goodbyes, and they kissed and held each other until he closed his eyes and went unconscious. When he awoke, he found himself standing next to the bed.
Tried to talk to my wife, and I thought she was ignoring me. She didn't blink, she didn't move a muscle, and I'm yelling and screaming at her, what's happening to me, what's going on here, who's in the bed. I heard people calling me outside the room, and they were calling me by name. And so I went over to the doorway of the room, and I said, hey, you come from the doctor to take me to the operation, because I'm like really sick and to have the surgery. And they said, we've been waiting for you a long time, we can't wait any longer, it's time for us to go, let's go now.
They led him out of the brightly lit room into a dim hallway. As they continued, the number of people in the hallway grew to large masses, and so did the darkness.
And I was absolutely terrified, because I'm beginning to get the idea that this isn't the hospital, and we're not going to surgery, and something's really wrong with this whole picture. And I said, I'm not going to go with you any further than this. Started to push and pull me at me, and I was fighting back, trying to get them off me. They were biting and scratching and tearing and doing unspeakable, horrible things to debase and humiliate me. And eventually I was on the floor of that place, too ripped up and broken up to stand or to move or anything. And I'm lying there, and I had like an eternity to think about my life. And the short version here is that as I thought about my life, I thought like I'd been a lousy son to my mother and father. I'd been a lousy brother to my 2 sisters. I'd been a lousy husband to my wife. I'd been a lousy father to my kids. I knew that I was garbage, and I belonged with, and the people that I was with were people who had lived the kind of life that I lived. A life of just seeking their own pleasure, getting away with whatever you can get away with, and they were going to be there forever, and I was going to be there forever with them. And I was going to become just like them.
Hey, I'm Lindsay, and you are back in the zone. This week we've been talking about the supernatural, but now it's time for us to finish up with the second half of our Life Zone report featuring Becca Pruitt-Denny as she talks to Howard Storm about his encounter with death and how it changed him forever.
The pain that they elicited from me was all that they had going for them, because they lived in this world of torment and darkness and had nothing at all except pain and torment. Something came into my mind, which was a memory, a vivid memory of myself as a child in Sunday school, singing Jesus Loves Me. And so I called out with everything that I had, not knowing whether it was true or not, only hoping that it would be true. Jesus, please save me. And I yelled that out into the darkness, and as soon as I did that, a tiny little like star appeared in that darkness. And it very, very quickly got brighter and brighter and bigger and brighter, and it came upon me, and it was this impossibly brilliant white light came over me, and for the first time I was able to see in this place, and I looked like roadkill. It was like disgusting. It was disemboweled and gore and filth and everything like that. And Jesus in this white light reached down and touched me, and when he touched me, all the gore just like went away, and I was just whole and clean and well. And more importantly, on the inside, what had been nothing but pain and despair and hopelessness was now replaced with being loved in a way that's indescribable, that nothing in this world can compare. And he gently put his hands behind my back and lifted me up to him and held me like a father would with his child. And he was gently rubbing my back, sort of there, it's okay. And I was crying like a baby. And I saw off in the distance a great focal point of light and lots of small points of light going towards it and coming from it. I thought to myself, they've made a terrible mistake with me. I don't belong here. And with that, we stopped, and he spoke to me for the first time, and he said directly into my mind in his voice, we don't make mistakes, you do belong here. He knows everything that I've ever done, everything I've ever thought. He knows the effect that I've had on every single person I've ever been in touch with in my entire life. He doesn't like things that I've done, but he likes me. Matter of fact, he doesn't just like me, he's crazy about me. You know? And everyone. I mean, that's one thing people don't understand about Jesus, is how much he really likes us and wants us to be with him.
Howard asked questions of Jesus and the angels, and they answered all of them until he understood. He asked to go to heaven, but was told no, he wasn't ready. He needed to go back and start loving people the way God intended. He was sent back to earth, back to the hospital bed, and was immediately operated on.
Howard Storm had an experience some people would call out of this world or supernatural. Most people have a difficult time believing such extraordinary things, but if you look at the Bible, it's filled with extraordinary event after extraordinary event. Look at Jesus. He walked on water. He read people's minds. He predicted the future. He made sick people perfectly well the way doctors only wish they could do. He suffered a gruesome death, and then 3 days later, after being buried, came back to life. I don't know about you, but I consider those things pretty supernatural.
Guys, there's so much more to Howard's amazing supernatural experience, and we couldn't fit it in this short time period. So if you want some more information, check out his book. It's My Descent into Death, again, by Howard Storm. I have to give shouts out to Ryan and to Jared in the back of the studio, my buds. But now it's time to go. See you guys next week.